Welcome to Study Loop.
All right, so we need to write a balanced chemical equation. We're told that we're starting with gaseous sulfur dioxide, that's SO2. Okay, that's in the name, sulfur dioxide. And that it's reacting with solid potassium telluride. Okay, so we know there's K for potassium and telluride. Okay, telluride is beneath oxygen, beneath sulfur, beneath selenium, there is telluride. And it behaves just like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, and telluride in that it forms a 2 minus ion when combining with alkali and alkali earth metals. Right. So if we put telluride 2 minus here, what's that tell us about the potassium? Well, potassium is always potassium plus, right? Because it's in the first row of the periodic table. Well, if we're forming a neutral solid compound, which we know we are because we're forming a solid, and solids are always neutral, this must balance to 0, which means we must have 2 potassiums. Now, we wouldn't technically write it like this with the plus and the 2 minus up top, so I'm going to erase those, but I just wanted to put those there so you can see where we're getting 2 potassiums and 1 telluride. Okay, so these combine, we're told, to form gaseous sulfur ditelluride, STE2, and solid potassium oxide. Okay, again, we know this is going to be oxygen 2 minus, right? Okay. We know we're going to have 2 potassiums and a single oxide. Okay, and now we just need to balance this, right? So let's start with sulfur. Okay, we've got 1 sulfur over here, and we've got 1 sulfur over here. Looks good. Let's balance our oxygens. Okay, if we have 2 oxygens here, then we're going to need 2 oxygens over here. So we'll put a 2 here. Okay, now we see that we've got 4 potassiums over here as a result of putting a 2 out in front of our potassium oxide. Right, so we're just kind of bouncing back and forth here. That's pretty much what we're forced to do. Make this 2 a little bigger. Right, see how this is 4? There's 2 potassium oxides, and there's 2 potassiums per potassium oxide. That means we have 4 potassiums. Right? So if we have 4 potassiums, we must have 2 potassium tellurides. Make a little space here. Right? So now we have 2 times 2, 4 potassiums on the left and 4 potassiums on the right. And so now we said, okay, we have 1 sulfur, 1 sulfur, 2 oxygens, 2 oxygens, 4 potassiums, 4 potassiums. How many tellurides do we have? Well, there's 2 potassium tellurides and 1 telluride per potassium telluride, so we have 2. And over here we have 1 sulfur telluride, but 2 tellurides per sulfur telluride, which means we have 2 tellurides, right? So sulfur, 1, 1. Oxygen, 2, 2. Potassium, 4, 4. Telluride, 2, 2. And now we are balanced. The other ways you could make mistakes is that make sure you're saying S for sulfur, not SU. Make sure that you're saying TE for telluride and not just T. O for oxygen, not OX. And we don't need water. No H2O.